Today's game, AFC versus NFC.
Hello, and welcome back to another draft player analysis video.
Two teams that don't know each other very well.
Today,
And when you don't know each
I'll be going over
you play cautious. And when you play cautious, you don't
Andrew Billings,
well as you should. So it should
defensive tackle, Baylor.
This game has officially begun.
Andrew Billings,
He's tackled
6'1", 311 pounds. Was an all Big 12 selection in 2014 and was the Big 12 co-defensive player of the year in 2015.
The Saints will come out in the dime.
Overall,
First down at the 28.
Andrew Billings is just a really solid player, but his maturity might be his big downfall as a pro as of right now.
After the incompletion.
But that's all I'll say about that until we get into the pros and cons. But I also forgot about stats.
As the single back.
67 tackles, 34 lost, 8.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. So, I think that's not 67, but I screwed up. I think it's like 100-some. So don't take the tackles too seriously there. But overall, besides the tackles that I know I screwed up on, stats-wise, solid player.
He's brought down at the 20-yard.
And again, I think that he is maybe the most talented defensive tackle in this class. It's just that he's young and maybe slightly undersized. Oh, this is the roster I had Laquan Treadwell on.
First down at the 20. Looking across the middle.
So, those things being said, let's just get into the pros and cons. My first pro is his power. I believe he set a high school record for powerlifting at 1,002 pounds. So he's obviously strong, but that also carries over into the football field. There are a lot of guys who are, strong that don't really know how to play football. He does. He's very. He knows how to play football, and he uses his strength to his advantage almost all the time.
And sometimes accidentally, you're going to grab the face.
Next.
Running backs in the
He's
NFL
grabbing my
now,
paper like an
it's
idiot.
hard to bring them down.
His reaction time.
Breaking a tackle.
I didn't really put it down, but I'm pretty sure he had somewhere like 8 swatted passes. Like that, something like that. So, his reaction time is very good. It's obviously good enough to knock down 8 passes career. So, again, he's going to have good reaction time on that. And also, when reading if it's a run or a pass, even read options, reaction time really helps on.
Nice catch. First down and 10.
Oh, shit. How'd I catch that? Damn.
Can you believe how vertical he got there?
Next, his closing speed. I think while he's pursuing a runner, his speed is much better than you'd think from a man who's 311 pounds. But when running down a running back, his speed is surprisingly good.
When you look at this, what do they do? Well, you just want to punch it in.
He's
a lot of different scenarios.
His agility in a short distance is extremely impressive for a man of his size. And it really helps when he's trying to run down tailbacks.
Second and goal to go from the 1. He is in for the touchdown.
And last, how he uses his hands.
First quarter is winding down.
He uses his hands very well to rip and tear, to keep guys at a distance so he can, read the play even, and then engage and disengage right away. His hand usage is very, very good. And just overall, he knows how to use his body to his advantage. So, those things being said, I think that his pros far outweigh his cons. I think that his cons are all things that can be fixed, and one of them is just depending on the locker room that he is in. So, let's hop into the cons. My first one is,
Tackled down at the 29.
I actually don't want to do my first one. I'll wait for last. Top heavy, meaning he doesn't have a strong base. He's all up top. So if he starts to lose his balance, he's gonna tumble. So I think that he's gonna have to really pull some of that weight down towards his base.
Got a flag.
And
Boy, his head got
just start to
the other way. An obvious
get better base strength, because if he's just going to be top heavy, smart interior linemen are going to catch wind of it, and they're going to basically say, I'm just going to push you over the whole time. So I think he has to put some more weight on in the bottom half of his body. Next, changing direction, his speed. Obviously for a big man, you're not going to expect him to have the best tackle, like changing of direction speed. But I think his directional speed needs to be quicker overall if he wants to be able to use that great closing speed he has. But again, it's something that can be fixed with just solid coaching and conditioning. Next, pass rushing. He's not the greatest pass rusher interiorly. Most guys his size aren't. But I think that even if he is somewhat of a threat in pass rushing, he can be a much more well-rounded player and a much more dangerous player. All he has to do is just learn a couple ways to get in the backfield and put pressure on the quarterback. And again, he can then use his good closing speed to help him make a play on the quarterback. Even guys like Andrew Luck, who are athletic. And lastly, his age. He just turned 21, which I guess is kind of the average, but he came out at 20. So did Johnny Manziel. We saw how he turned out. He didn't have a good leader in the locker room, and Johnny Manziel kept doing what he wanted to do. I think if Andrew Billings needs to, if he's going to be successful, he has to, someone in that locker room, no matter what team it is, has to take him under his wing and, make sure that he stays smart. Guys who are young with that much money always make dumb decisions. It's a fact. But if someone on that team can keep his head on straight, he won't make as many dumb decisions. So, a team like, the Steelers, James Harrison could be that guy. Roethlisberger can be that guy. The older guys, New Orleans, Breeze. Oh my God, the D tackle they have right now, I think Kevin Williams. They're starting tackle now. The guy's been in the league 12 years, so obviously, he has something he should have to say. But overall, I think that most of Andrew Billings, cons are stuff that can be fixed. And his age overall is something that really does need to be, controlled, I guess. You can't let him go and do stupid things all the time.
Back to the air here on first down. Looking to go down the field here. Intercepted.
Unfortunate. So, overall, though, I have him rated as a mid to late second round prospect. I have him dropping out of the top 10, or the top 10 of the second round and the first round in general, just because of the need for those teams ahead of them. I think the only team that has the real potential to use a high draft pick on D tackle is Baltimore. But I think if Baltimore goes defense first round, which I believe they will, I personally think they're going to go offense in the second. And even if they don't, I don't think D tackle is their biggest need right now. So, those things being said, let's get into the teams of interest, starting with the New Orleans Saints. As I said before, Kevin Williams, I believe, is a 12-year vet in the NFL.
The Colts sat at the line.
You know, he played with the
Time package.
Vikings most of his early career and was honestly one of the better D tackles.
And it's batted down.
But again, he's getting older, and he needs to start to. The Saints need to start to groom a younger player to take his spot, and I think Andrew Billings is a perfect fit. Big, slightly athletic. I mean, I'm not going to say very athletic, but slightly athletic guy who can make, who can make plays with his good awareness and his closing speed in the run game. And eventually they can teach him how to play the pass game better. Next, I have Detroit. If Detroit doesn't take a D tackle first round, maybe they go offensive tackle. I can definitely see them, trying to find their guy on the interior in the next round to replace Haloti Ngata. And Andrew Billings is definitely a guy that they can use. Or definitely the guy they can pick up to replace Haloti Ngata and be the next, good Detroit D tackle.
The Saints come out in a jumbo set, and now he'll surge ahead.
So, next, I have Buffalo. Again, if Buffalo runs a forefront, this is a perfect pick. Him and Marcel Darius can do disgusting things to opposing defenses
The Saints now move the
or opposing offensive lines. They're two guys who can really be one-man wrecking crews, and there's two of them right next to each other. So I think Rex Ryan, even if he doesn't run a forefront, I think he would even consider having him as a rotational player.
Now they take the football onto the opponent's side of the field.
Next, I have the Jets. They have to find someone to replace Damon Harris on the inside. After Harris left to go to the Giants, I think.
Saints snap it at the 41.
So they need to find someone on the interior to have that same kind of effect that Damon Harris had. And Andrew Billings, although he may be a little young, there's definitely some older guys on that roster that can be leaders and teach him how to be an actual pro. So, next I have Washington. Again, I have Washington going interior line in the first round. But, again, if they don't and Andrew Billings is there, this would be an easy pickup for them. And obviously a smart pickup as they can, start to solidify the interior of their line with the loss of Terrence Knight.
Got to give your offensive line a lot of credit. They give the quarterback extra time.
Next, I have Cincinnati. Cincinnati needs a nose tackle. I don't know who it is right now on that roster, but they can get a young guy who can definitely play nose.
First and 10.
And just find a young guy to start developing and start in maybe a season or two, because I know Cincinnati definitely has an older guy who's a starter. Next, I have Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh really needs that guy at the point of attack that they haven't had in quite a while, since maybe Casey Hampton. They haven't had a big guy at the point of attack, and I think that Andrew Billings can definitely be a potentially a day one starter on a team that really doesn't like to start rookies. That was more Dick LeBeau on the defensive side of the ball. But overall, I think that definitely Pittsburgh, if Andrew Billings is there, would be ecstatic to make this pick. And just overall start to solidify a D-line that was solid last year with Stephon Tuitt and Cameron Hayward, two very good young defensive ends who are kind of big guys. No, they're really run stuff D ends in my mind, but they definitely can play the pass. Next, I have Seattle. With the loss of Brandon Maben, they need to find a guy on the interior who can be a presence. If Andrew Billings is there at the back end of the second round, Seattle will take him. I know Seattle definitely has to start rebuilding their offensive line a little, but overall, I think that they'd be dumb not to take one of the best defensive tackles in this class at the back end of the second round. And lastly, I have Denver. Mostly to give Wade Phillips a new toy to play with. Wade Phillips is a defensive genius. I mean, what he did with that defense this year wasn't surprising, but it was incredible. And Just overall, I think that he's a great pickup for almost any team. Although I think Denver can definitely find another playmaker on the defensive line. But those things being said, I believe that with the 12th pick in the second round of the 2016 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints will select Andrew Billings, defensive tackle, Baylor. My reasoning. Let me just crumble up my paper here. My reasoning. They need to find a guy in the interior to replace Kevin Williams very soon, as he's getting up there in age. They can find the best D-tackle at that point in the second round. If he's there, this would be the easiest pick. And he will definitely fall out of the top 10 of the second round, because I believe there are not many teams in that top 10 of the second round that need a solid defensive tackle. Although I do think the Saints are a team like that need a defensive tackle that they could start to develop and even start year one as they rotate him. But, again, this is just all subject to opinion and everything. But, again, personally, I think the Saints would be definitely moving for this kid if he was there. I can even see the Saints trying to move up a couple picks to try and grab him. But overall, that's all I really have to say about him. Coming up next will be the start of my linebackers with Myles Jack. So I guess I could just say the guys I'm going to be doing for my linebackers. I'm going to do Myles Jack, Leonard Floyd, Reggie Ragland, Darren Lee, and Jalen Smith. In that order, that's how I have them ranked. And again, I'll go into why Jalen Smith is 5th and not 2 when I get to his video. So, alright, let's just try and finish this game. Oh, and then after that, I'm going to do my defensive backs as a whole. I'm not going to split it between safeties and corners, just because I really only have one safety that's really a first-round pick in my mind. And he's not technically a safety, I guess. It's Jalen Ramsey. And he's more considered a corner right now, or more considered a safety, but he definitely played both in college. Alright, so let me try and win this game here. I forgot I had freaking Jaquan Treadwell on this roster. Thought it was a different one. Damn. Try to get into fucking field goal range. I can get to 30. I can at least attempt one.
Dropping back now into the shotgun. Cleaner's gonna pull in the bullet.
Tell me that wasn't pass interference right there, game.
We'll call a timeout. They clearly want the ball back with a chance to do something.
How long is this field goal? Who the hell is their kicker?
They'll bring out the kicking team. A field goal try to take the lead here in the
fourth
quarter.
Fucking railed it.
The field goal attempt is good. It's good. So
all right.
Great kick there on the long field goal to give them the lead here in the closing minutes.
He made it look so easy, didn't he? The kicker just went out.
It was easy.
No
oh, shit.
Rips through it and
I don't know. Today, I'm probably going to start recording a new series. So that's fun. I'm probably going to do my part for Uncharted today that I know I'm going to do. Probably going to upload a part for it, and then I'm going to start my brand new series.
If they get the ball, they catch a pass, make sure you come up and make the tackle. Don't let them catch and run and get a big play against you.
Dude, why is the Saints defense is fucking bad? It sucks so much ass.
With only one. Lux all by himself in the backfield for this snap. The Colts have it at the 34. Looking long. The receiver comes down.
Psych, my man. Bull fucking shit.
First down. Pressure on every snap now.
Good job by the offense here. Hustle up,
Dude,
Get
my
that football
dick.
snap, conserve time, and most of all, conserve that timeout. Those are big down the stretch.
The Saints defense now is going to go nickel. The Colts have it at the 34. The catch is made by Dwayne Allen. Allen's tackled down after a game.
All right, I'm not playing for overtime. I don't know why I went to the home screen. But for now, this is J-Wax signing off.